Hi guys, I'm 13 here, and there's that chimney that I never tell you what it is for. I'm going to, I don't know where I'm going. I went to the racetrack for the 4th time in the last couple of weeks, and again, I'm still not on the racetrack. First time I went, they were too busy. Next time I went, they were closed. Closed? Yeah. Third time I went, they were closed for lunch. So I specifically made sure I went on a day when they were open, because the last time they were closed, and the second time they were closed. So the third time I went, I made sure it was the day they were open, and then they were open, but they closed for like an hour and a half for lunch, and I arrived like 15 minutes before that started. So it means I would have had to have waited an hour and 45 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck? You know, I don't got 2 hours to spend sitting here waiting. And they're like, well, go get something to eat. I just ate. You know, I ate a late breakfast. Anyways, so, and then today I went again, and evidently I got it's like cars only today. A bunch of guys booked the track for the whole day. Yeah, the track's booked. Some of you are, well, why didn't you call in advance? Well, maybe I should have, I guess. Well, I knew they were open today, so I just went. I didn't know someone would book it. So yeah, I guess fifth time's a charm. Next time I go, I'll actually get some track time down. That's not the topic of this video, though. The topic of this video is cruisers and sports bikes. For those of you that don't know, my very first motorcycle was just a kind of a standard street bike. It wasn't a sports bike. It wasn't a cruiser. It was just a naked motorcycle. It was just nothing special. I should take that back. It's kind of blasphemous to say that your first motorcycle was nothing special. It was awesome. It was, the most fun I'd had. Some of the most fun I've ever had in my life. Slightly off topic, and that's the thing that people don't understand about buying the first motorcycle. So many people for the first motorcycle, they say, it's always the same excuse. I don't want to buy something small and cheap because I don't want to waste money upgrading later, like selling it and then buying something bigger, buying the bike I really want. So I just want to start with the bike I really want, and I'll take it easy. I'll just take it really easy. I want to start off with like a racing bike or an expensive cruiser, and I'll just take it easy. If you take it easy, then you've just lost the whole point of getting a motorcycle in the first place. You don't get a motorcycle to take it easy. You get a motorcycle to have fun. And you can't have fun if you're learning how to ride on an expensive, powerful bike. You know what I mean? Like, if you buy yourself an expensive, like if you go out and buy yourself a $20,000 racing bike as your first motorcycle ever, and then you're trying to learn on it, oh my goodness. Like, it's just, you would have so much stress, and you'd be so worried about dropping it, and you normally do drop your first bike more than once. My first bike, I probably dropped that thing like 5-6 times. So, like, you got this, and if you got an expensive, especially with race bikes, because they're full fairing, which means they have bodywork, the kind of plastic bodywork that sticks out on the sides. So if you drop it, it cracks, it breaks, boom, gone. And it's about $1,000 to replace it on more expensive bikes. Like, you can just, I could just be stopped like this, and my bike could fall over, and boom, I'm out $500 or something. So that's like the opposite of fun. But you get yourself like a $800 10-year-old 250cc bike, 400cc bike. You drop it, you crash it, you go riding off, you go off-roading on it. You see some skateboarders jumping a ramp. You jump the ramp, you crash it again. Who cares? You pick it up, it still goes. It's got scratches, it's got some dents, but that's no big deal. You're having fun. Like, that's what buying a motorcycle is about. You buy a motorcycle to get rid of the stress and to get out there, and that's what people want. And then if you buy yourself an expensive bike to learn on, you're just giving yourself added stress. And then what happens if you crash it seriously? Forget about, like, you might, even if you get away physically unhurt, you're still out thousands and thousands of dollars for a bike that you only rode for a short amount of time. And the more powerful the bike, the higher the chance you're going to crash it. And realistically, if it's your first bike, there's a very high chance you're going to crash, regardless of the power. So, what was the topic again? Oh yeah, cruisers. Yeah. So if you're buying for a first motorcycle, I don't really suggest getting a cruiser or a sports bike. I would suggest getting something kind of what's known as a street bike, which is kind of a plainish kind of. Well, there'll be in a few seconds. There's going to be about 20 or 30 motorcycles, so I'll find one of those that's a street bike, and I'll point it out. Yeah, so a cheaper street bike would be your best bet, because that way you don't have to worry as much when you drop it. And here's all the bikes I promised you. That guy on the Honda, I passed him on the way here. Oh, not 20. I guess everyone's riding, they're not stopped. I don't even know what I want to do, man. Shit. I've done this road right here like a dozen times in my videos, well, more than that. So I don't really want to do it. But if I do it, I'm going to see other bikes. There's another beautiful road up ahead, but if I do that, there's not going to be any bikes. Because it's kind of, I'm not the only person that knows about it. Yeah, I'm going to do this road. I feel like riding with some other motorcycles. Hopefully I can find someone that's quick and follow them. Because that's how I wanted to go to the racetrack because I'm a bit rusty. I haven't been riding much lately, and when I do ride lately, it's not very aggressively, so I'm slow. I'm rusty is the best way. So what I would need to do is I would need to go to the racetrack and ride aggressively and practice, get my skills back. But since the racetrack won't let me ride today, the next best option is to find someone who is better than me and to follow them. That's how I learned how to ride quick in the first place. We're totally all over on topics today. Yeah, I guess sports bike cruiser will come later. That's how I learned how to ride quick in the first place. Like the first few times, my first fast bike that I owned in Taiwan, or very fast bike that I owned in Taiwan, was like a Moto GP 252 stroke. It's like it's a full-on. It has a low top speed, but it's a full-on racing bike. Its acceleration is comparable to that of, well, anything in the lower speeds. So yeah. Anyways, I had a 250 smoker, and I took it up with a group of guys that ride quick, and I had a lot of difficulty taking the corners. Taking corners quick is getting the bike to lean all the way down where it's rubbing against the pavement around corners is about as difficult as it sounds, because it doesn't sound easy, does it? And when you first start doing it, it's difficult anyway. So I'd be riding behind these other guys, and the funny thing is my bike's a 250, and their bikes are. I was riding behind this one guy in particular, and he rode 1,000, and it wasn't even a full sports bike. It was kind of it was, what's it called? It's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like a dual purpose kind of. It could do aggressive street riding. It could also do a little bit of like off-roading kind. And it's 1,000cc, kind of like the BMW. You guys know one. In Taiwan they call it the Big Bird, but in English you wouldn't call it that. Anyway, so he was riding this like heavy, kind of aggressive bike, but heavy nonetheless, 1,000cc bike. And here I am on a 250, and the lighter the bike, the easier it can corner. So my bike's much lighter than his. So, and I couldn't keep up with him on the corners, and it shouldn't be that way. So one day, but he was just a really skilled rider, and he'd been riding these roads a lot, and I was new to the roads, and I just bought the bike. So one day I told myself, okay, I'm just gonna follow him and and match his speed. Simple as that. And the further, and if we go into a corner like faster than I'm comfortable with, well then fuck me. I'm either gonna crash or I'm gonna have to just do it. And that's what I did. I just followed him at a distance of about, I don't know, maybe a little bit more than this, and I just matched his speed. And we'd be flying towards a corner, and it'd be, you know, like it would feel way too fast for me. And then he'd just slam his bike down on its slide and take the corner, and then I just had to do that too. Otherwise, I would have gone straight off the road and crashed. So I just put myself in a situation where it was do or die, and I did, and I didn't. Okay, this is getting frustrating. Really frustrating. What are we doing here? This car in front of me. The problem right now is this car, the white Mazda in front of me, wants to pass also. He wants to pass the guy in front of him. So every time I feel like I'm gonna pull out to pass, I also feel like he's gonna pull out and pass. So it makes me hold off, and then he doesn't do it because it's more difficult for him to pass because he doesn't have the power. It's very dangerous on a motorcycle when you have multiple cars in front of you and you pull out to pass them. Because at the same time I pull out to pass this guy, he might pull out to pass the guy in front of him, smashing into me. There's many videos of that happening on the internet. I'm going to explain it one more time for those of you that are slow. Not you, but the guy next to you. If I were to pull out to pass this white van, just as I'm passing him, he might decide to pull out to pass the car in front of him and then pull into me. And it happens a lot. You don't need to brake for this corner. Well, maybe you do. No mirror on this corner. Oh, there's one. This is a do or die situation. Right here. There we go. Yeah, so, but because my friend he knew these roads and he was familiar with them, so he had that that's a huge advantage right there, you know. He knew the corners, he knew what speed he could take them at, and because my bike is lighter and more maneuverable than his, then whatever speed he could take them at, I could actually take them at a quicker speed than that, if I'd had the skill. Anything he could do, I could do better on these roads because my bike's lighter than his. But I just didn't have the balls. So yeah, but that's how I learned to corner. A lot of people ask that question. You know, it's so scary when they're cornering, and how do you do it? Yeah. My advice would be if you want to know how to corner. Yeah, I'm just thinking, what is the title of this video going to be? Because I started off talking about cruisers versus sport bikes. Now I'm talking about cornering, and I was talking about first bikes. It'll probably be like a misleading mix match of all three combined. What's I talking about? Oh yeah, if you want to learn how to corner, corner aggressively. My advice to you would be to first do some reading. Twist of the Wrist 2, you don't need to buy Twist of the Wrist 1 because Twist of the Wrist 2 is like a redone version of 1. It includes a lot of 1. Like they take the best bits of 1 and they add more stuff and they call it 2, so you don't... Yeah, so Twist of the Wrist 2 is a good book. There's a few others. Because what you need to do is you need to educate yourself on what not to do in a cornering situation. Because if you're going to purposely follow someone who's better than you and put yourself in over your head, you need to really know what not to do. Like, do not brake, do not tense up your arms. You can corner easier by putting your foot down on the ped, etc., etc., etc. You should need to educate yourself first, and then you just get yourself in a situation with someone who's maybe better than you but has a heavier bike, and then follow them and use your knowledge so that you don't make any panic mistakes. So that's the worst thing that could happen. You go into a corner. You just got to keep telling yourself, if he can do it, I can. If he can do it, I can. No problem. Don't go into a corner and that he's taken on his heavier bike, and then all of a sudden think that you're going too fast, because you're not. His bike's heavier, he can do it, so can you. So just do it, man. Don't break, don't panic.